Greenwich Village is like no other place on earth. The art, artists, thought leaders, and political movements that sprang from this little New York neighborhood are countless and still coming. For almost 200 years, decade after decade, these streets have borne witness to whatever was new and experimental, cutting edge and inspirational in the world of literature, art, music, and theater. From James Baldwin to Mark Twain, Bob Dylan to Billie Holiday, Jackson Pollock to Andy Warhol. You can still feel their energy as you walk the very cobblestone streets that they did. And as exciting as all of those cultural luminaries are, the real heart and soul of Greenwich Village are the generations of everyday people who've made this place their home. It's a true neighborhood with mom and pop shops and fabulous eateries, schools and playgrounds, and tree-lined streets. And at the center of it all has been Greenwich House. Since 1902, Greenwich House has been a vital part of this unique community. Education, arts, healthcare, and social services across a small and vibrant campus of buildings. In good times and bad, world wars, pandemics, economic crises, and more, Greenwich House has been a home people can count on and one that adjusts to the needs of the time. From the beginning, Greenwich House was a pioneer social service agency, responding to people's needs in direct and innovative ways. In 1920, they opened the first official daycare center in the nation to serve working mothers. In 1942, they started the first after-school child care program in the city. In 1963, Greenwich House created the first walk-in outpatient center for drug treatment in New York. Greenwich House was also the first and for years the only organization to respond to the AIDS crisis in New York by starting the AIDS Mental Health Project in 1987 and creating a primary care initiative for AIDS patients. All of that here in our little village. And through it all, Greenwich House has stayed true to its original vision. It's a hub for the community, providing social services and art and music and gathering spaces, serving New Yorkers of all ages, backgrounds, and cultures. The spirit of innovation and community building is thriving. Now more than ever, it's hard to know where the next area of need will be, but you can be sure Greenwich House will meet the moment. Greenwich Village is the beating heart of New York, and the beating heart of Greenwich Village is Greenwich House. Tonight, we will show you why.
Hello and welcome. I'm Javier Munoz, and I have the honor of being your MC tonight. I say tonight if you're watching us live. If you're watching us taped, well, first of all, where were you? You said you'd be here. I texted, I called, I sent you flowers. And secondly, good day. I really am so happy to be part of this event. I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. In fact, I went to NYU just down the street here. My very first job was around the corner. Also, very proud Puerto Riqueño. Hola, mi gente. Señoras y señoras, bienvenidos. My family came to this country, both as children. My father moved from relative to relative, house to house. My mom moved here with her 6 sisters and my grandmother. They built their lives here. It wasn't easy, but they worked hard and achieved their version of the American dream for themselves and for me and my brothers. But we could talk about that later, over drinks. I'll call you. Back to Greenwich House, which was formed in 1902 to help immigrants in New York City, people just like my parents, who wanted to make a new life for themselves and who might need guidance and support. And they've been improving lives of New Yorkers ever since. Now, we have a great show for you tonight to help honor and support Greenwich House. Talented performers, inspirational stories, a few familiar faces. Greenwich House is all about supporting the community, so tonight, in addition to celebrating it, I'm gonna take a stroll through these legendary streets and pop into some of the small businesses that are at the heart and soul of Greenwich Village. But before we go any further, a reminder that tonight is a fundraiser for our community. So we are thankful for what you've given so far, but if you found some extra cash in the couch recently, or in the pockets of your laundry, maybe you sold your startup for 60 million recently, whatever it may be. If you have any additional money to spare, please follow the instructions on your screen. I promise you your money is going to a very worthwhile cause, and right now, we're about to prove it. Greenwich House was born Thanksgiving Day 1902. Fun fact, I was born Thanksgiving Day, not 1902, but after this last year, I definitely feel like I'm 118. Speaking of someone who's had a heck of a year, Darren Block took over as the CEO of Greenwich House on January 2nd, 2020. I'm not sure how hard he thought the job would be initially, but I promise you, he didn't see March coming. Here's the CEO of Greenwich House, Darren Block.
Good evening. I'm Darren Block, the CEO and Executive Director here at Greenwich House, and I am so thankful to have you with us tonight as we celebrate our people and programs in this beloved New York City community where so many of us live, work, and play. This is the 19th year we're hosting Taste of Greenwich House, and tonight we're thrilled to be all together, if from a distance, to offer you a twist on Taste that we know you'll enjoy. We're excited to be joined by some special guests and magical performers, and we're changing things up a bit this year with your help and support going to help Greenwich House programs and services, but also providing a portion of tonight's proceeds to support the restaurants and workers who have supported us and this event these past 18 years, and they've been so hit during COVID. We're doing that because for nearly 120 years, Greenwich House has served the evolving needs of Greenwich Village and beyond. We were part of the city's first wave of settlement houses, founded to improve living conditions for immigrants who had recently settled in the area. And as the community grew and changed, our services and programs also changed to meet the moment. Whether the needs were educational, vocational, health, cultural, or wellness, from the day we opened our doors, our people and programs understood the mission to be one of service, innovation, and support. When COVID shut down schools, jobs in our city, leaving countless members of our community reeling, Greenwich House sprang into action. After all, we've been here before. Through world wars, recessions, a Great Depression, and yes, the world's last global pandemic, these doors never closed. Almost immediately, we implemented programs to get meals to seniors and others who could no longer safely go out. To date, we've helped prepare and deliver nearly 200,000 meals to neighbors in need across the 5 boroughs. We adopted our models to figure out new ways to continue supporting people confronting substance use disorders and children and families experiencing trauma, COVID and non-COVID related. We adapted programs to meet the needs of young students and families whose regular support systems were unavailable. And we stood firm in our commitments to support local artists and musicians and the creative community that is the heart and soul of the West Village and our city. And we could do that because of the help we get from friends and supporters like so many of you. So tonight is a thank you and a celebration of our staff, our teams who answered the call this past year and every day of every year. And tonight we continue to emerge from calamities of this past year. We're here to rally and cheerlead for each other and the recovery and rebuilding ahead. We're excited about the work and we're excited to have you coming along the journey with us. As we get to the program, I want to offer a huge thank you to our event chairs, Mark Rudd, Laura Villarosa, and Jan Willem Vandendorpel, our entire board of directors, and the people of Greenwich House who do so much, so often in service of neighbors and community. We thank you so much for being a part of tonight. Enjoy the show.
Greenwich House is a resource. It's a big asset in this community because we provide for seniors food security. We provide programming and education for children. We have enrichment through the pottery and music programs.
Before I had Kiata, I remember walking by Greenwich House, stopping there and reading the placard on what it's about when we first moved to New York City 12 years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, if I have a kid they're going to take classes here.
We're serving about 15,000 New Yorkers every year. Those are New Yorkers within this Greenwich Village, West Village, Chelsea, Hudson Square area, but it's New Yorkers that well go beyond this immediate geography.
The nursery school has been around in one form or the other for many decades and has changed with the needs of the neighborhood, but it definitely retains a more progressive, arts-based approach, which feels sort of indicative of the history of Greenwich Village.
Greenwich House gave me so much. The classes, the services, the food, the friends.
What we try to do is create really like a comfort level for anybody to come in and feel comfortable.
There's nothing radical about fair treatment and about understanding that anything that we are all benefiting from, everyone involved should be treated well. And I think Greenwich House is presenting that very clearly, that yes, that does exist.
I think being a part of a settlement organization is a truly New York thing. I'm actually sitting in the music school garden, and directly behind me is a bust of Mary Kingsbury Simkovich, our founder, who founded Greenwich House on Thanksgiving Day, 1902. So it's just a deep connection with our community.
Greenwich House really, especially in the field of substance use disorder treatment, has a very rich history and is known in the community. It's known as a place that very much welcomes patients and provides good care that's inclusive.
We're now responsible for maximizing what is the most amount of good we can do from the spaces that we've been given to perform these programs and projects and services and interventions.
100% of the workforce must stay home.
The pandemic hit and the city had asked us to close senior centers pretty much immediately.
In the morning when I come, there's nobody there. I saw a lady once the other day, and she gave me a hug that I ain't had a hug like that in maybe in 13, 14 months.
When you look at the crises of any time in our city's history, Greenwich House has served a role in responding to it.
We were the one program that never shut. And every single day those nurses were there. Every single day our medical staff and counselors were there. When we needed help, like we needed masks, someone sewed those masks from Greenwich House and sent them to us.
Just yesterday I was speaking with a parent. We've had multiple parents who said, you are the reason we came back to the city right now. We weren't sure of our plans, we didn't know what was going on, but you said you were open, so we came.
I think one of the things we're incredibly proud of is how quickly our teams adjusted to that kind of remote service and providing these types of enrichments and connections from a distance.
The best staff I've ever seen in one place, ever. Truly.
Considering the amount of things, challenges going on in the world, I couldn't ask for a better place to be, really.
I love working at Greenwich House for the simple reason that I'm building relationships.
When my members show gratitude, it's a constant reminder to me that I'm making a positive difference in their lives.
When people in the city speak about social services, this is one of the founding programs.
It really is, the center of my New York universe.
Greenwich House is a life support for me.
I think when you live in New York, you come to understand that there's so many people and perspectives, and that everyone has value.
I've always felt like we belong there, and it just feels like home now at this point, right? Feels like a second home.
The truth is, they are amazing.
From all of us here at Greenwich House, our staff, our directors, our leadership, and those we serve,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your support and your ongoing help.
The first stop on our tour is the Clam. This intimate restaurant is a longtime friend of Greenwich House. Chefs and co-owners Joey Campanaro and Mike Price are always cooking up something special. The Clam is like going over to a close friend's house and being served the best of the Eastern Seaboard. Let's see what Mike's up to. lockdown happens and everyone's gotta be at home. What's the reaction? Did you stay open? Did you open for takeout delivery? How did you all react here?
The first thing we did is kind of pivot this to a to-go concept and a fish market for like the first couple of weeks. And then we kind of took a step back and got our bearings. We closed for about 3 weeks, and then we opened back up with the fish market, more to go, a little bit more safety procedures in line, and really kind of pivoted that way.
It's almost an intimate relationship you have with this neighborhood and you have with this community.
Sure.
And so what's that dialogue been like through this year, and how is it changing now?
We have 3 restaurants. We're getting ready to open a 4th shortly in this neighborhood. And they're all within like 10 blocks of each other. So we're ingrained in this neighborhood. Wow. We're here, you know what I mean? And we've felt it. So the dialogue has been nothing but support the entire time. When we're building something, it's not like, don't take up our parking spots. It's like, oh my God, that looks beautiful. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that, which has been really, really great.
It seems so incredible to me that the relationship between you, the restaurant, the entity, and getting people to come in and trust, like, we've got you.
We were doing it before, right? So, you know, this isn't our first rodeo. This isn't like we've got 7 years on this corner where we're building relationships, we're building regulars. There's a clientele base there, and a lot of people went out of the city, but the people who were here, you know, they wanted to support. And if that could mean coming to pick something up, that could mean they're totally scared to leave the apartment, but they're going to send it to go, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So
beautiful. What are you feeling is the pace of this future and looking forward?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it's a bright, bright summer for many reasons. I mean, the weather's on the change. I feel like, you know, the energy in the city is like I haven't felt it in a while. You know, we're excited. We're excited about this year, and we're excited about next year. What's going to turn into next year? What is the next level of this? What's the next thing we have to pivot towards? You know, it's...
Yes. See, hope is in the air, folks.
Hello everybody, I'm Dana Cowan and I'm the founder of the Broadleys and the former editor-in-chief of Food and Wine magazine. I love restaurants, I love New York City, and I am so happy to be here today representing both for Greenwich House. Thank you so much for your donations tonight. As you know, it benefits not just Greenwich House, which itself should be enough. That's amazing. But it's even more tonight because Greenwich House is supporting the community that they work in by supporting the restaurants they love, the restaurants here in the West Village. So a portion of each donation tonight goes to those restaurants in need who have struggled and been there for us for this entire time of the pandemic, before, and for a long, long time in the future. And why is that important? Well, restaurants are at the heart of every community, wherever they are. They're the place that you go because you know the bartender. They're the place you go when you want to have a date. They're the meeting place. They're the heartbeat of the community. They're where you take your friends from out of town. They say who you are. They represent who you are as a New Yorker, as a part of this tribe. And during this pandemic, as you all know, restaurants have really struggled. We've heard the most horrifying statistics that something like 50% of the restaurants in New York City might not make it past this spring. It's been so hard being closed. It's hard for the restaurants and their staff. Their team is like family. It is their own internal community. And so the notion that we could lose these resources for us, for the teams, for the restaurateurs is really terrifying. And that's why tonight's donations are extra specially important. The restaurants are the heartbeat. And tonight, our hearts beat louder, faster, and stronger for supporting them. So thank you all so much.
Hey, Greenwich House, it's Michael Urie. You may remember me from your stage, where I played almost a year in the solo comedy Buyer and Seller by Jonathan Tollins. But the Barrow Street Theater was good enough to have us there on your stage for a long time. We enjoyed a wonderful run and incredible audiences. I enjoyed the amazing amenities, that amazing huge basement that was my dressing room, and that stage. I can think of no other stage in New York that is as grand and intimate as yours. But I know that Greenwich House is not just a theater. The Greenwich House Music School has played an important part in the careers and lives of tens of thousands of student artists. One of their signature programs is an annual community concert series called Uncharted, which is designed to give artists a safe space to take risks and work out new collaborations. And a lot of these artists have gone on to major musical careers, chart-topping albums, Grammys, fame, all that stuff. One of the artists is an incredible harpist named Brandy Younger. Now, Brandy is a native New Yorker raised listening to gospel and other types of devotional music. But when she discovered the genre-bending African-American harpists Alice Coltrane and Dorothy Ashby, Brandy knew she'd found her path. She's a powerhouse musician. She infuses classical, jazz, soul, and funk into everything she does. And in addition to working with some of the top artists in music like Drake and Common, she gives back to the next generation as a teacher at the Greenwich House Music School. So, take a look. You've never seen a harp do this before.
This is an original composition entitled Essence of Ruby.
The value of what Greenwich House does here was proven this year. I think we're problem solvers. I think Greenwich House as a whole, and I think we're a huge asset.
The mission, the Barrow Street ethos, I always describe it to families as really picking up the ethos of this community. And so often we're getting families who it's their first child. They may or may not be from here, but they're looking for a community to raise their children with.
What's special about Barrow Street Nursery School at Greenwich House is that we really focus in on early childhood education. These kids are coming with no filters. They're coming with a huge innate curiosity about the world, in spite of any challenges that come up. There's a lot of things going on in the world, but they love to play. They love to make observations about the world and tell the truth, and so none of that changes.
I think before the pandemic, we had a bunch of programs that were already serving the community in a certain way. And then we got an email from the DOE stating that they were going to close down the schools for September. And right then and there, I knew we had to do something. And we were like, we have the space. We can have them here from 8 to 3. The way we were able to shift and know the necessity of what the kids need right now, the necessity of having childcare full day, because schools were closed. I think that speaks to the value of what we bring to the community.
Different teachers teach different classes. We have art, we have sewing, gym, cooking. I work at the enrichment program. I'm with the younger kids, so I help them get on their Zooms and do their independent work. For the after-school program, I teach a science and engineering after-school class. And then in their downtime, we have games and fun. Playtime.
And they were creating birdhouses and they were learning about birds and they were singing and they were dancing, and she literally was up and down with the computer in front of her. The growth there has been amazing.
To teach a young kid, really, you leave them alone in so many ways. We have this idea that they're just like blank, empty things that need to be filled with all of the information we know and the ways that we think. But in fact, kids, if you give them space and time to play and grow, they make observations and then come to conclusions on their own.
The enrichment program at Greenwich House is really a lifesaver for parents because it gives their kids some fun in their day. They're so positive. They find the joy in every little thing.
I think that the support just that the community provides in a city that can feel big and can feel crazy and can feel like there's a lot going on. But it's this warm, cozy, I always say it's this warm, cozy, weird oasis that you don't know exists until you need it.
Every time they pick up their kids are happy and like telling their parents what they did today. You can like see the joy in their face, which is something that I think parents were really scared of losing for a while. Greenwich House really is its own community of itself. Every day the parents thank us for it.
Who's your favorite teacher?
Omar. He told me to say that.
What's the favorite part of your job?
I get to work with kids all day.
Hi everybody, we live in Greenwich Village and have always loved Greenwich House. But now that we're parents of young children, we appreciate the services and support that they offer in completely different in a very direct way. Our 3-year-old son Oscar attends Greenwich House's Barrow Street Nursery School, and their progressive approach to education is responsive to the needs of both children and families, making it one of the most sought after early childhood education programs in New York City. But that legacy and approach is nothing new. For a century, Greenwich House has responded to the needs of children and families in the area and beyond. From art, music, and STEAM education to medical and mental health services to sports and entertainment, Greenwich House is a hub of awesomeness for kids. Please join us in making a donation today to support Greenwich House. And bring your kids. Hopefully, we'll see you soon on the playground. Thank you.
C.O. Bigelow isn't your average drugstore. It's a neighborhood treasure. For nearly 150 years, New Yorkers have come here to fill prescriptions, get friendly advice, buy perfume, and secure all manner of lotions and potions. It's like the original Target. You go in for one thing and walk out having maxed out your credit card. They have everything. When the pandemic hit, CEO Bigelow worked hand in glove with Greenwich House to get local seniors vaccinated, especially those who might struggle to do so on their own. Let's take a look inside. So here we are in front of Bigelow's, and I'm with Alec Ginsberg. And I just want to ask you, like, what inspired Bigelow's to stay open for the community in this past year?
I mean, we've been around since 1838. We are the oldest pharmacy in America. Right here on this block, this building since 1902, and we were right next door from 1838 until then. We've never been closed for a single day in our history, so when myself and my father, who's the third generation owner right now, got together at the beginning of this, there was never any question. We were always going to stay open. We've been here for the community through blackouts, through world wars, through basically everything you can think of. September 11th, we never shut our doors for a single day, so there was never a chance we were going to close down. The neighborhood needs us, and we wanted to be there for them. We've been vaccinating a lot of people, so it's been really fun to be a part of that and have people who come in and sort of break down in tears at how happy they are. Like, you guys were there for me at the beginning, and now you're the ones bringing us back into the neighborhood, and now we're starting to see their faces every day, which is super exciting.
What inspired that? You got seniors helping them get vaccinated.
Obviously, you know, we wanted to be a part of the vaccination program in general. I registered us back in October when it first, you know, the opportunity came about. Very difficult, believe it or not. You know, this thing came together so quickly and they just wanted to get it in the hands of people. I don't blame anybody, but it was, you know, not as organized as we like it to be, but we made sure we were on top of it, following up every chance we got. We found out in early January we were going to be part of it, and obviously we're a small pharmacy, so we're not getting thousands of vaccines. We had to make a decision, how do we prioritize these? So initially I sat with my dad and we said, we've been taking care of some of the older people in this neighborhood for so long, and these people who've been sitting home so nervous that the second that link comes up on their computer, they're not going to be able to figure out how to get them an appointment. So we said, you know, we'll take care of some of our longtime customers, but what we should really focus on is this neighborhood, the older people, the people that Greenwich House takes care of. We reached out to Greenwich House and we said to them, you know, you guys have this roster of seniors in the neighborhood who need to be vaccinated. How can we help? And they told us exactly what we needed to hear. They have plenty of people who are stressing about working out, getting vaccine appointments online, and we said, let us take care of all that for you. We scheduled with them over the phone. We vaccinated a couple hundred people from Greenwich House. It was a great partnership with Greenwich House that we're really proud of.
As our City Council member and a Speaker of the New York City Council, Corey Johnson has been a tireless champion for our members and clients, students and families. Tonight, we are so happy to recognize Speaker Johnson for his 8 years of dedicated service to our community. Lots of people talk about big ideas, but he has put in the time to understand our needs and get things done. Speaker Johnson has brought attention and, most importantly, financial investments to issues essential to our community. And for Greenwich House, Speaker Johnson and his team have been consistent and reliable friends, helping secure direct support for our senior services, which include money management classes, supplemental food programs, expanded health and wellness programs, including for homebound seniors. His support strengthens our Children's Safety Project, which provides mental health services for children and families confronting trauma. And with Speaker Johnson's help, we were able to build programming connecting our music school with local elementary schools to ensure that more local students had exposure to music and musical arts. Speaker Corey Johnson has been a profound force for good, for New York City, for Greenwich Village, and for Greenwich House. We are grateful for your service. You will be deeply missed. Thank you.
Hello, Greenwich House and friends. I'm New York City Council Speaker Corey Johnson, and I want to congratulate you all on your 18th annual Taste of Greenwich. Now, I know that this year's event is a little different, and not just because it's virtual, but because this year Greenwich House isn't just raising money for all of your important work and crisis response efforts. You're also raising money for local restaurants and restaurant workers. That is so inspiring. And I know I speak for everyone when I thank you for your wonderful generosity. It is that kind of compassion and community that makes me love New York City so much. And I want to thank Darren Block for all of his incredible work, especially over the past year. It has been a difficult 13 months for all of us, but Darren's leadership and the hard work of all of the staff and volunteers at Greenwich House has kept things moving. Finally, I want to thank you all so much for including me as an honoree this evening. It has truly been my honor to serve you all over the past 7.5 years. As a poor kid growing up in public housing, I never thought that one day I would get to be of service to others. As a closeted teenager who felt like he just didn't belong, I never imagined that I would one day run for office in the greatest city in the world. And when I was diagnosed with HIV and lost my health insurance at 22 years old, I never dreamed that one day I would get to serve as Speaker of the New York City Council. But I refuse to let my most challenging moments define me. And I think that's something we can all relate to right now. We're coming out of one of the most difficult periods in our city's history. We have been knocked down collectively, but we will get back up. Together, we will rebuild New York City better and stronger than before. We are the greatest city in the world. New York City is the greatest city in the world. And with organizations like Greenwich House, we are going to stay that way. So thank you all very much for this very kind honor. And I look forward to seeing you all in person next year to celebrate an amazing place like Greenwich House. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Eric Bergen. I grew up just a few blocks north of Greenwich House, and I went to elementary school in the village. This neighborhood, this place, it really holds a very special spot in my heart. And I am honored to be here with you, celebrating all of the programs and the people that make Greenwich House so incredible. Next up is an exciting performance from another uncharted artist, Shayna Taub. Shayna has received the Jonathan Larson Grant, the Fred Ebb Award, and the Kleban Prize, basically the Triple Crown for honoring the very best emerging creators in musical theater. She's a graduate of the NYU Tisch School of the Arts and has performed to rave reviews all across the country. Also, Shayna is currently co-writing the new musical adaptation of the film The Devil Wears Prada with another emerging writer, Sir Elton John. It's coming to Broadway very soon. Now, full disclosure, I've known Shayna since we were about 10 years old or so. We went to theater camp together up in the Catskills. All of us knew that Shayna had something special even then, although I am still holding a grudge over an incident involving a s'more in the summer of '98. Anyway, this performance is a preview of her upcoming virtual concert done in partnership with Greenwich House Music School and Joe's Pub, which will stream for free on May 20th at 8 p.m. on the Joe's Pub YouTube channel. Performing Possibility, here's my friend, Shayna Taub.
Possibility, possibility of fairness, possibility of a higher awareness. Let us hold on to the sense of a swelling harmony. Possibility, possibility, possibility. Can you feel the possibility, possibility, possibility? Can you feel the possibility? Dare we allow ourselves this joy, this joy? There's plenty of darkness left to fight, but what we do next is our choice. So make some room to rejoice. We can celebrate, we can celebrate, we can celebrate, celebrate the possibility, possibility, possibility. Can you feel the possibility, possibility, possibility? Can you feel the possibility? We can celebrate, we can celebrate, we can celebrate, celebrate the possibility, possibility, possibility. Can you feel the possibility? 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 Can you feel the possi
One of the unique features of Greenwich House is how we take the energy and culture of creativity here in Greenwich Village. It's our music school that's finding innovative ways to do individual work and group work for children and adults, to be a haven within the industry, working with professionals and amateurs trying to be professionals, and how can we support that community? Same thing at our pottery school. How are we supporting the ecosystem, the sector around these arts and culture? And that's another really interesting feature of Greenwich House.
I'm the interim director at Greenwich House Pottery.
I teach hand building ceramic classes, so we make functional pottery and ceramic sculpture. Knew about Greenwich House Pottery through its reputation in the ceramic world, a landmark for a ceramics community in the city.
You have the opportunity to kind of join in and join the tradition of making in clay, but we have kind of this unique circumstance where we have brand new students, we have seniors who are just looking for a hobby, we have artists who have come from another tradition. So you have this really wide cross-section from very young to 100. And so there's this great intergenerational classroom that happens. I think people really value the community and learning from each other. It's a special place.
We live in a world where so many things happen digitally or through screens, and ceramics is an actual event that you feel.
We have such a tight-knit community that being together and making things is just so much for so many of our members.
Greenwich House started giving music lessons in 1905. The music school is really beautifully built for what its purpose is. There are these gorgeous studios, each with a great piano, and these beautiful big windows that looks out onto flowering trees. I mean, it's just such a great vibe to make music in. Lots and lots of music has been made. Lots of creativity has happened in this space. You know, it's 116, 117 years of music education in a place where literally no one ever has to audition. We do private lessons, we do group classes. So if you have a youngster who is really chomping at the bit to learn music, this is the perfect place for them.
I'm a piano student at the music school.
Well, we started with MAP, the Music, Art, and Play. Wonderful, fantastic community and program. That's how we met our friends and our, who I call my family now.
And we have ballet, we're doing early childhood education, and we're doing more theater education since I've been here. Uncharted is Greenwich House Music School's community music series, usually local artists who are working on something new, some facet of their career that they haven't had a chance to work on yet.
Throughout the process, Greenwich House has been very gracious in how they've treated me and my band. There's been just a really wonderful treatment as a person from the people at Greenwich House.
That feeling between student and teacher is just really, really strong here.
Danielle, who's my teacher, he's really nice, and since we're doing it remote, he's still really good at teaching it. You look at the music and it's like, I'm never going to be able to play a really cool song I want to play, and then once you get it, you're kind of proud of yourself that you finally got it.
Learning music online is not ideal, but it is a way to continue to connect and to continue to be creative. I've never seen a moment where music was more important.
That's been a huge part of her life. It's been Greenwich House. We owe a lot to them.
Hello, my name is Jason Eichelhart, and I'm excited to talk to you about this wonderful place, the Greenwich House. From its very beginning, Greenwich House has been a thriving hub for the arts and creativity. One of their organizing founding principles, which continues today, is the belief that the arts are a crucial part of a fulfilling life, and thus should be central to Greenwich House's mission and services. For more than 100 years, in good times and bad, people have come together at Greenwich House to be entertained and educated, to find community and catharsis. Greenwich House has been the home to troops of kids and families growing with Mozart for Munchkins and groundbreaking troops like the Soho Rep, the Drama Department, and Beryl Street Theater, where I was honored to perform with my family Freestyle Love Supreme. Now, I played the genie for many performances in Aladdin on Broadway, so I know a thing or two about making wishes come true. Greenwich House's wish is to continue to be a thriving provider of art as well as a nurturing incubator for artists. But you don't have to be a genie to make a dream come true. Nah, all you have to do is make a donation today. So, thank you for your support and have a wonderful night. Oh, and may all your wishes come true.
The last business we're gonna stop in is Tío Pepe, which has been serving authentic Spanish cuisine since it was opened by Jimmy Sands Sr. over 40 years ago. From the Beatles to Bobby De Niro to Broadway's best. Everyone who's anyone has eaten here. Jimmy's son, Jimmy Jr., runs the place now. I smell something good. Let's see what's cooking. A year and a half ago, and lockdown starts. What was your reaction? How did you immediately sort of handle that news?
I sat down, and because we do have Tío Pepe, Burrito Loco, the taco shop, and Las Ramblas, I sat with my three managers and the head chef for all the restaurants. So what are we going to do? We have to keep people working. We tried different things. We actually, since people were having trouble getting food, we opened up Pepe's Market. It was kind of a collaboration of all of us to come up with the idea, and the first thing we did was lower our pricing because we knew people needed to be able to go out, and some people couldn't afford it at the time. So we were selling margaritas for $5, pricing back to the early 90s.
I was going to say, yeah, at least. It's amazing.
And we did very well, and the customers were great. They were coming to us. It was interesting.
This location has been open for 52 years?
Yes.
And that means you've seen all sorts of incredible moments in the city. 9/11, Hurricane Sandy, and now this pandemic. With all this history and all that's happened in this past year and a half, what are the three things you're most grateful for coming out, as we come out of this pandemic?
First and the most important is for the customers. The customers have really come out, they've supported us, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. And secondary, the employees. Everybody wants to come to work, everybody's happy to be working, and they're doing a really stellar job. And even though we're working, as the prices are low, we have to work with the minimum staff because they need to make money, everybody needs to make money. And I'm grateful that they're coming to work every day. And I'm also grateful for the opportunity just to be able to be open.
The best part about my job is making my members smile. My job is more than a 9-to-5, it's a purpose. My purpose is to serve and meet the needs of my community.
Greenwich House has senior centers where people can come for food and community.
For me, the best part is creating programs for older adults and having the ability to give older adults any type of opportunity they want in regards of programming and meals and social services and case assistance.
People at Greenwich House provide these relationships through the senior centers, through the arts programs, through the mental health, in which we can say that people are still very valuable, where a lot of our non-traditional people who did not have children and get married, they followed their art form, are seeking community now. And so I do believe that they are not invisible and that their voice counts.
I'm a physician and the medical director of our methadone maintenance treatment program. Our methadone maintenance treatment program includes medication, methadone, buprenorphine, Vivitrol for patients who have opioid use disorder. And we provide medication assistance, counseling, psychiatric care.
We have a physician on site at the MMTT program. There is also vocational services and mental health services there as well.
We do deal with people who have history of substance abuse. And what we try to do in short terms is we try to guide them and give them a better way of living.
My role at Greenwich House is a certified recovery peer advocate. I provide compassion to those in need. I instill hope. A peer worker provided support to me because I am in recovery. Providing support and giving back is a part of recovery.
Watching someone come from a very tough place and then 6 months later, maybe they were homeless, or they've really just turned everything around, or they're just in a place that makes them feel safe. That is amazing.
The first time I came down here was about 20 years ago. I came in to have lunch with my friend, and boy, I fell in love with the place. From the minute I walked in, next day I was there, again and again and again.
I was getting a relationship with someone who understood what I was going through. And Greenwich House gives me that feeling that someone's there to talk to. And I'm a person who likes to talk. So I have a relationship with someone and I don't feel totally alone.
They can sit down, socialize, talk, maybe go to their classes and go to trips, do what they always do from 9 to 5, I think that's the best thing I could wish for.
The pandemic hit and we pivoted very, very quickly to online classes. We literally closed on a Friday. We started classes on a Monday. And even the facilities staff, they were here and they were delivering meals to our senior clients that didn't get a meal from the city. We're very inclusive. And I've said this many times, whether you sleep in the park or you sleep on Fifth Avenue, you're included in our center. We treat you in all of our centers as equal.
There are many people who will never step in a senior center. They don't want to be thought about as old enough to be in a senior center until they try it, and it's a great place.
As you have just seen, Greenwich House truly takes care of this community. They have a legacy of innovation when it comes to providing services that meets the need of the moment. They provide elder support, making sure the most vulnerable amongst us can live full and rich lives. I love Greenwich Village, and as a designer, I'm always inspired by this fabulous, eclectic, and inclusive community. This is why I have my flagship store there in the Meatpack District, and why Barry and I wanted to give back by contributing to the High Line and also giving you the little island for all to enjoy. Today, Greenwich House needs all of our help, so please make a donation in whatever amount is meaningful to you. Be part of this vital lifeline in this one-of-a-kind community. Thank you very much.
If I should leave you, try to remember the good times. Warm days filled with sunshine. just a little bit of rain. And if you look back, try to forget all the bad times, the lonely, blue, and sad times. Just a little bit of rain. And if I look back, I'm gonna remember the good times, warm days filled with sunshine, and just a little bit of rain. Well, if I should leave you, try to remember all the good times, the warm days filled with sunshine, and just a little bit of rain. And just a little bit of rain.
Well, I made it to Greenwich House in time to say goodbye. I love walking in the village. I met some good people, had some yummy eats, and definitely got my 10,000 steps in. Okay, maybe 4,237, but no one cares. As you can see, New York is open for business, and Greenwich House, like it has been since 1902, is here, ready to support and enrich, nourish and embrace anyone and everyone who needs it. But we can't do this without you. So once again, please follow the instructions on your screen on how to donate. Thank you for being here and being an important part of tonight's event. I'll see you inside.